Or pink today.
I'm so
because
excited.
Mayhem are going to win. The desk is correct, I think, in the Preds for once. What was that? Yeah, okay.
For once,
All right,
did you just
slightly
say?
For once. I mean, look, how many Preds have they got right? Someone bring up the table right now. There's not many, let's be real.
Okay,
Although,
let's
to be
maybe
fair,
not do that to them.
To be fair, I don't think many people predicted Glads to win 3-0 versus Mayhem yesterday. Pretty crazy, honestly. I think the San Francisco Shock have a lot to say about that match as well against the Vancouver Titans. 3-2 is a little bit close. You'd expect the San Francisco Shock to have a decent game there, but you know, maybe a little 3-1 action going on. But the Titans, quite formidable opponents. But Rose, we didn't expect to see Mayhem down in the lower bracket. Like, that's pretty scary in itself.
No. Yeah, I think that's San Francisco Shock. They've got a really tough opponent ahead of them now. You know, Florida Mayhem, they're a team that maybe they had an unexpected loss yesterday, but you know that they're able to pick back up the pieces and get back on track. So this is a team that I would be very scared of, but they need to stick to a game plan. Yesterday, I think Florida Mayhem cooked a little too hard. What was with that checkmate Genji?
Yeah, he's one of his strongest heroes, but Genji in the meta right now, not the best. It's much more like Sombra, Tracer, or on this map, maybe Sim, etc. I mean, the San Francisco Shock game the other day, Rose, was just them kind of cheese and control. I mean, they're doing the same thing again, potentially. Running Heesang on Mei, proper on the Sim, and then just going for this Orisa. It did end up working out for them a little bit as well, kind of tricking the Vancouver Titans when they went to City Center. But we are starting out on University, an Oasis, and it's just a teleport forward for the Mayhem. And the Shock, yeah, they're going cheese.
Yeah, it looks like they're just going to stick to a strategy that worked well for them in both rounds of control yesterday. They actually did this as well on Ruins for Ilios, so not really a huge surprise here, especially when you can just get so up close into someone's face.
Well, we're going to be careful. Minden trying to find the boots, not quite getting the Mei off the map, but someone ends up going down first. Nice bit of disruption. There's the boot Minden was after. Oh, well, actually, Jumpin stole that one with the spear. All right, Shock ended up winning that first fight, Rose. Easy cap. And the Mayhem actually getting back into this one. It's going to be pretty tough against the Mei, that's for sure. But the Hanzo too. I mean, Proper has just been such a menace on this pick. He took over Havani.
Yeah, and look at the high ground he's able to take as well. And so Florida Mayhem, they can't necessarily go to the left. They know that Proper is up there and would have free real estate over them as soon as they move in.
Oh, well, there you go. He does kill people, and he kills people pretty efficiently. With RuPaul dead, I mean, Mayhem just need to make a choice here. Do they stay? Do they get out? Do they poke? What are they doing? Looks like they're just going to stay on the high ground for the time being, though, Rose. Waiting for Batiste to come back.
I think that's okay. You've got the moon boots. I think RuPaul is able to get back up and at least be able to heal the team for an initiation, and you could technically send RuPaul down main. So if you wanted to just jump down on point, then Florida Mayhem definitely have a great vantage point to be able to do that. Waiting for cooldowns, I guess. Yeah,
Coalescence coming out for Shock first, though. Will be the first online, you'd imagine. Only a couple of more percentage points. Someone's trying to duel out in the front line with Jumpin, but there's the kill that you wanted to see. If you're a Florida Mayhem fan, Proper is down. The three-man hit squad, and Merit is caught by surprise. Finn just jumps into the back, his own back line, pops the Cole, forces Merit all the way back. Going pretty low, too. And with a window being popped down by RuPaul, this is the time for Mayhem to take the space. Blizzard also thrown in by Checkmate, but Finn and Jumpin are going to be okay in this side room. But Heesang, quite unlucky. His demise has been met, and that will be Florida Mayhem taking the points. Are we going to pop the sound barrier too? It looks like San Francisco Shock also want to try and get back into this one. Jumpin trying to move to the back line, try and get a Terror Surge out. He hits Merit, and Merit ends up going down to Finn. They will trade both tank ultimates here, but Jumpin is so low. The Annihilation, way too much damage for him to handle, and he ends up falling too.
Wow, okay. I mean, the fact that Florida Mayhem threw 4 ultimates in that fight, I was getting a little nervous that they weren't going to be able to convert that over to any progress, but with the point flip right underneath Shock's noses, and then the sound barrier as just an insurance policy there to be able to get this progress, they're going to be matching Shock pretty quickly here. High ground control here for the Mayhem, and Heesing's coming back in with a Blizzard. Maybe that'll be enough to bully the Mayhem off of the point.
Well, Mayhem, they've got the overclock. Jumpin already super low, has popped that fortify. And now he's looking for a nice little double clat. Nope, defensive blizzard from Heesang. Looks like Florida Mayhem have skated away from it, but no, Heesang still connects an icicle with Merit, but they do trade Proper for it. The Coalescence, though, is just so much damage. And Finn's just so safe, too. He still had the fade if he needed to use it. Florida can do the darndest right now, trying to keep this point alive with RuPaul zoning, using his own ultimate. A nice little spear from Jumpin. Not sure that ended on environmental, but it pushed RuPaul away so someone couldn't get heals. This should be a fight win for Shock as they find the flip again.
Huh. Orissa's pretty fun to watch. Jumpin's kind of clean with it.
The spears are kind of crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's just kind of like spear fishing over there, and Florida Mayhem are the big fish that you'd really want to be taking out here too. So hey, it's working out for them so far. We're entering pretty close into last fight territory, but the Shock, they might have a Blade coming up here for Proper, another Blizzard. Florida Mayhem might beat them to the punch though. Checkmate's building that pretty quickly.
Jumpin, trying to find some cheeky spears. Luckily, RuPaul's Exo Boots enabled him to jump over that spear. Final fight though now, Rose. Another one there, connects to RuPaul. They're like homing onto RuPaul right now. He's got a magnet with RuPaul's name on it by the looks of it. Checkmate has got that Blizzard in 5%, like you mentioned though, Rose. Someone already had to pop their Nemesis form. Not great if you're someone. Sustainability not fantastic. Well, apart from that Blizzard coming out. Looks like two people jumped into the hole, but someone still ended up getting frozen. Up. There's the Terror Surge, but Checkmate, yeah, that still goes up the wall, unfortunately, Checkmate, and that will be the San Francisco Shock winning this fight out, you'd imagine, after Proper's played. Annihilation from someone's decent, but you can see his health bar. Yes, Proper's just squaring up to him, straight up. Shock, well, they pulled out the cheese, Rose, and they end up taking the map again. Can they do the same thing? Florida Mayhem, I'm wondering if they kind of looked back at that Titans game that Shock whipped out the Orisa yesterday and thought they could work their way around it, but like you mentioned too, Jumpin's Orisa is actually pretty clean. Those spears were landed.
It's like he's a practice with this or something. Like the number of times Jumpin has brought out the Orisa for these last few matches that the Shock have played. I mean, that's really what it's going to take. Florida Mayhem, one of the reasons why they lost to the Gladiators yesterday is that the Gladiators were able to pull out some surprise picks to be able to keep their dive at bay, right? Like, look at the Ashe pick that they ended up coming out with for Kai. And I felt like that was just a page that Shock can take out of the Gladiators book to try to surprise the Mayhem a little bit here. The brawl's looking really clean. I'm here for it. I think that Jumpin could do this again.
Well, kind of works on this map too. A lot to kind of play around that central column at the bottom of the point. The Orisa can kind of dance around that. Large hitbox, of course, but give a lot of defensive countermeasures. Speaking of which, Spear Spin's already been used. And Florida Mayhem, all they really need to do is put Jumpin in a position where he hasn't got Fortify and he ends up getting walled off, but Shock moving as a unit, their target is someone. He's just getting burnt alive right now, all this damage. Had to pop the Nemesis form, Lamp's already been broken too, and now Jumpin, he's hunting, he's fishing for those spear kills, and as someone falls, Shock cap.
Wow, Shock are gonna get an early capture again with the Orisa. I mean, now that they've got the capture, they can play so defensive.
Oh my god. If I've seen my rank teammate pull out the Orisa, I'm like, please bro, just switch, please. Please. But look, it works, right? Because the enemy team might expect it. It works. Well, there is the engagement. Vindime, well, they've been aggressive, actually forced RuPaul to use the lamp. Big tool to keep someone alive and still playing rather aggressive is Jumpin. Oh, please, you're all Sonics. He's lining up for a spear. Can he get one? No, he cannot. Nearly getting RuPaul's body straight off the map there, but all good for the time being. High ground control, very much in favor of the Mayhem right now, but there goes the Coalescence. That window stands no chance. The entirety of the San Francisco Shock just running through it, and Jumpin spears once again, just homing in onto RuPaul. The Mayhem pop the beat straight into a Blizzard, and the San Francisco Shock are just going to clean this one up.
What value the Shock just got from that. I mean, Finn, we look at the Moira sometimes and we go, huh, maybe not the best pick that you could go for in this particular meta. Maybe you expected the Immortality field from Batiste would just give you a little bit more oomph to the team composition, but look at how well it's able to operate in these smaller spaces. Finn was able to get so much AoE healing down onto the Shock, and even with the Coalescence as well, you saw the Perma Pocket onto Heesang. That's a great way to be able to keep everybody alive.
Dragon Strike, oh my! Terror Surge, Dragon Strike, no surviving that. I mean, we saw a little flavor of that yesterday too with the Terror Surge Death Blossom. It was only a matter of time before that combo came about. And with one fight remaining, Rose, Mayhem in dire straits.
You could just use the beat aggressive here. How do you really get back into this one if you're Florida? Except to send Mara onto the point with the Tracer, but he already gets bullied off.
Yep, has to recall already. Annihilation and Blizzard, all of the AoE capabilities for the Mayhem now as they do put themselves on the point. Heesang's already used that block, and the San Francisco Shock were trying to get a big split going, but it actually works out for Mayhem. Split itself off, and then, well, someone just runs them on the Annihilation. With Heesang dead, a lot less control, jumping pretty low, also isolated from the rest of his team. They're pretty happy with losing that fight though, Rose. Don't even need to use that beat.
No, they don't. And now you get a chance to use it with the Coalescence. You got Proper as well with the Sound Barrier to become pretty unkillable force. And the Genji pick worked out really clutch for the last round. So maybe that's another thing that Shock can rely upon here. But look at Mayhem. They've just switched Merit over to the Sombra. That's going to be one way that they hope to stay in this one. They got to play flawlessly from here on top of Checkmate's Blizzard.
I mean, you can hack the Cole, I guess. That'll be the biggest value feeling you get from this fight. But in fact, it's just going to be a kill to Proper. All right. Yeah, that's another good way to start the fight, I suppose. Not sure if Shock are going to commit anything here. No, we're Proper dead. Finch jumps off the map. Okay, quick reset. All good. We'll go again.
Quick reset here means that the Shock have, what, like 2, maybe 3 attempts if they're really lucky, but they're walking into a lot. Mayhem didn't have to expend anything there.
Oh my god, do you see Proper like insta-pop the Wraith there? Kind of frustrating. It should come up by the time they actually get into combat, so it wouldn't be too much of an issue, but with the San Francisco Shock, like you said, they've got 3 fights, maybe 2, maybe 3 if they're lucky. Heesang's Blizzard, they only need this one. Nice little spear onto Checkmate, didn't quite send him off the edge, and there is the wall. Proper caught out, same with Finn, and Fade and Wraith form used. Oh, RuPaul's been moved! Jumping spear again! This guy's getting barbecued right now. Jumping with an unbelievable pick, and the Sound Barrier forced out of Mayhem. They got no sustain. Terror Surge is good for 1, and another spear landing directly onto Merit. He built that EMP up mighty fast, but if your main source of healing goes down that quickly, you have no chance in the fight. The San Francisco Shock, they're going to 99 this, surely 100%. There's only one person left to touch. Can Merit get back? No, not even Chorong with his skates on. The San Francisco Shock with another 2-0 control start to the series. Beautiful stuff.
How do you practice against that? Like, who's playing Orisa on control for you to practice against that in scrims?
It's tough too, because they may have not shown this look, and they haven't really shown this look up until this point, up until yesterday. So Mayhem trying to get a practice, like warm-up scrimming against an Orisa comp. I mean, like you said, the Shock are going to be the most practice on it, so there's no way you can kind of replicate that in a scrim environment. Rough stuff from the Mayhem, but I mean, they know that the Orisa comp didn't really work out and can't really work out on other maps, Rose, so maybe that's their saving grace.
Yeah, especially when they get a chance to pick the next map, right? You get a chance to look at something that might work a little bit better for a dive, let's say. Someone, show us the Winston. Please? Please, Winston?
I mean, they didn't have a good luck with that and kind of countering Kai's Ash, which you mentioned earlier, right? This kind of cheese that's maybe throwing them off slightly. And what a spear, too. RuPaul just had the worst possible time against Jumbin. Like I said, he had a magnet with RuPaul's name on it. Rough stuff. Hollywood, though, Rose, you cannot play the Orisa cheese. Well, maybe Shock could prove you wrong. We'll have to find out, though, after this break. Don't go anywhere. We've got map 2 up next.
champions!
San Francisco Shock,
Proper is a generational talent. He's going to be in this league for a long time.
Look at this guy! He's running down Bernard! Then he just charges the Sigma!
Completely uncontested, tearing through.
Coming on!
Though tried his best, but it's not gonna be enough. Finn is feeling himself. Look at him.
Chapman only affects him. Rampage gonna catch on a two from kill him, but Proper is there! Oh my! 여기 깔고 또!
The San Francisco Shock, they won Ilios 2-0 yesterday to beat Titans, and they start off the series today against the Mayhem 2-0 on Oasis. Looks like things are repeating themselves. And we are going to Hollywood as our next map here, Rose.
This is actually the map that Florida Mayhem picked yesterday after they found themselves in the same position versus the Los Angeles Gladiators. This is a map that is historically really good for the dive, and that is the look that Florida Mayhem tried to show us on Hollywood yesterday, both on attack and defense. But it was that pesky Ash, and I wonder if San Francisco Shock might put Proper on a hero like that in order to try to do the same thing to the Mayhem.
Yeah, you watching that series, Kai was just free so much of the time on the high ground on second. It was rough. I mean, Ash is a very, very strong hero at range, but when you put it in the hands of someone like Kai, even deadlier. Right, Hollywood though, Shock and Mayhem. You're thinking Mayhem are going to take this. The desk will voted 3-1 in Mayhem's favor. I would imagine, well, there's a lot of Shock fans out there, so maybe the community sentiment is a little bit more 50-50 compared to the broadcast today, but we'll have to wait and see what they want to do. Looks like Mayhem are going to be on the attack first, so we'll see what Shock want to defend with.
So this will be pretty telling, right? I think this is going to give us a little bit of insight on how Shock want to try to approach the dive from the Mayhem.
Are they really
and
doing it?
if it ain't broke,
Wow,
don't
they're
fix it,
actually
Jack.
doing it? I mean, I mean, it's good. It's good for when you need to like control a point, I suppose. I mean, on this one, yeah, sure, you control this first point.
We've seen this before on defense.
Yeah, and
Not
but
this
when you get to
season,
second,
but like Overwatch 1 days.
sure, yeah, Overwatch 1 days. But you need to switch when you go into second, which can cause quite a hemorrhage in the ult bank, which is kind of what I worry. So Shock really, they're going for a look of like, we're just going to hold first. Like, we don't need to lose first, so we can just play this comp forever, right? But you also need, I feel like you need the speed here, but I guess with the close quarters, you also don't really need it so much. But with Mayhem going this dive, Rose, it's only a matter of time before Merit finds a pick. Everybody's quite elusive target on the Shock side, but if their head gets clicked on, they're going to die.
Yeah, that will definitely open things up there for the Mayhem to try to get into this one. I don't know if you need the speed, though, when you've got somebody like Proper on the Reaper to just be there to protect Junbin. Look at the hitbox that someone's going to have here. Reaper loves that.
Yeah, I mean, also, I don't think Junbin needs protecting, to be very honest with you. Junbin's the one actually dishing out the majority of the damage. He protects himself. All right, Proper. He's being rather cheeky right now. Okay, they know now. Someone is in his own bubble. He's pinned, and this is going to be the big problem here. The slow juggle of the point is impossible because Junbin can just stand there. Like literal standing man emoji. He's just standing. It's not much else that Junbin can really. He's just shooting and that's it. And then someone tries to get on him, checkmate 2. They're really just looking for Merit to open this one up the pick.
Well, look at that. Looking at Vindame, too. I mean, if you remove the critical, then I think you're feeling pretty good about that. Proper, too, would be a great solo kill.
Pretty good. Nice bit, but they don't follow up the kill. They've pretty got the upfront damage unless Proper's kind of around. Ward, again, to help Junbin. Even checkmate getting checked, but Proper on the high ground gets flailed by Chorong. Good opening pick. Wasn't from Merit. We'll take one from Chorong, though, any day of the week. One tick acquired, and a rotation onto the high ground for the San Francisco Shock, but the Mayhem, they are nearing ultimates. That blade's coming up rather soon, same with the Nano and that Primal Rage. Coalescence doing a fair bit of work at kind of stemming the bleeding of this defense from the San Francisco Shock right now, but RuPaul is behind them. He's on the high ground, and he seeks the elevator. Yeah, no one there, RuPaul, luckily. A little bit of a jump scare, and here comes the ultimates from the Florida Mayhem.
The blade coming up shortly. Don't get in that smoke room. Shock, you don't want to be there.
Decent, but there's the blade and the dragons. I mean, there's a lot of AoE damage, and it forces the Shock onto the point right in the clutches of Checkmate, but Proper's managed to come back just in time on the Tracer. Already had to recall, but look at the low health members in the backline. He's in trouble, same with Finn. There's nothing Jumpin can do, unfortunately, to save his compatriots. And that will be the first point unlocked. 4 minutes to go, but what a stall fest from Shock.
That's kind of what the composition at the end of the day, like if you can't get the full hold, you want to try to just buy as much time off the clock, right? Shocker actually gonna, no, jump in, thinking about it?
He's got Terror Surge, but are you really gonna get a Terror Surge kill? Or like, will it be effective? I don't think so. I mean, when they, okay,
it's tough
hear me out.
to aim that, right?
They
Where do you
five-man
put
jump
it?
high ground. He hits Terror
Exactly.
Surge and then gets a 5-man Terror Surge. It's gonna happen. Watch this.
Ooh.
It's not gonna happen.
Maybe?
There's no way. No, he's just angry point. What a surprise.
Oh,
and
definitely
then
not
they
right
have take
now.
high ground because they have dive and now jump into trouble. Okay, this might not be working out as I planned it, but I was planning more for a play of the game kind of situation. Coalescence from Finn. It's going to heal himself up as well as the rest of his team. He's already popped that block and the wall, but Cole does go through shields luckily enough, but too much damage. There's the Terror Surge. It's good for 0 people. Nice little spear onto someone, and luckily though, Finn and Vindime, they've still got the damage to clean on up here as Jumpin continues to anchor the point.
Well, it is forcing someone away, and now Jumpin can just sit on the cart. Everybody else is also, they're being pretty stalwart here on the defense. You can keep balled up there with Finn, and I guess bully RuPaul again.
Yeah, I mean, RuPaul's on the high ground. He's got someone playing bodyguard right now, and Jumpin, well, he's just doing jump. He's currently just kind of chilling on his own in the payload. He doesn't really need a lot of help, to be fair. Just a Moira orb every now and then, or some of the Offergood cards from Kiriko. So this is the point of this comp though, right, Rose? It's just stall. That's all it is. An anti-nade on Jumpin, he just hits Fortify, and then he lives. Nano boost available, and with the Dragon Blade, could be pretty big. Good sleep onto Jumpin, but no, instantly cleanse before that nade can actually go off. Even Merritt's going pretty low, same with someone. But with a rally, I mean, Chorong used that and got absolutely nothing but his own demise. They do end up trading for Finn, and with Proper now dead, way less damage, and a nade that finally sticks to Jumpin, ends up getting the kill. And with 2 minutes to go, the Mayhem have finally got that payload going.
I think you can stay on the Orisa here, though. As soon as you get back out of spawn, and as that card approaches the second checkpoint, not a bad way to just bunker down and try to get as much stall as you can. This also, like, if they're able to bully the Mayhem off of the cart, is such a strong defensive position for them moving forward into future fights.
Right, there's the rush onto the high ground. Nano Blade, though, in checkmate. Didn't need the Blade for that kill. Just chase Vindime straight away. I mean, he's right in front of him. Vindime playing way too aggressive. Terror Surge is good, though. Actually kills checkmate. Didn't use the Blade. Most importantly there, the Blade is going to be too effective regardless. The amount of survivability on the side of the Shock is crazy, so you're not looking at getting too many kills with it. So maybe just forcing cooldowns is more than they can hope for. Jumping pretty low, forced away into the bar area. As someone is just zoning the payload. This Primal Rage is good. Is it good enough?
Oh.
It is. They're just going to boot them away. Someone just juggling the San Francisco Shock off of the point so they can cap.
Well, that's one way to beat the Orisa comp, is just make sure that she can't touch the payload. I like it. Oh, they didn't even have to use the Blade there either. You were talking about the Blade maybe just being a great tool to be able to get something out of the Shock in terms of cooldowns, maybe the fade from the Moira, the swift step there from the Kiriko. But I think at the end of the day, you're hoping to save it to be able to get that Nano online from RuPaul, because that's coming up pretty quickly. A couple of compositional swaps, though. We're going to be moving over to dives on both sides. Someone's switching over to the Diva, and we've got Junvin as well picking up the Winston.
Nice nade. Getting away, but look at that space that is created. Dragon Strike as well. Help me. Blade available, like you said. Maybe Rally Blade wouldn't be too bad. It means the Genji won't instantly die.
True. That's not too bad. You get the overhealth, so that'll be something at least to be able to keep the Genji up. But RuPaul's also very close to the Nano. I wouldn't be too surprised either if you see that Nano be saved for someone as well.
Yeah, it could be saved for Checkmate, could be saved for someone. There's the Blade. That's Kiriko cleanse. Yep, not good anymore, unfortunately. Perfectly timed. Checkmate finds 1, 2, and a third. The Florida Mayhem, despite being on struggle streak for the majority of the map, they finish with time, and they finish with over a minute. 1 minute and 10 seconds. That Shock cheese, they do change from it on that third point, and they're punished for it too.
It just felt too late of a switch. If you were going to switch over to the Winston, I would have rather saw that on the second point, maybe getting a little too overconfident with how well the Orisa was working. And it left them without too many tools to work with for when the Florida Mayhem ultimately were able to get past that second checkpoint. And I love the Dragon Strike call-out that you made as well, where you had the Hanzo shoot that ultimate right down the main, it split up the shock, and also pushed them so far back that they were not able to set up for that defensive dive that we would have wanted to have.
Yeah, it feels like Jumbin might have wanted to stay on the Orisa at the very end, or should have done, because that's a pretty defensible point. Like, you get held in the choke so often, and he can just jostle on the payload, sit there, fortify, spear spin, throw more spears at RuPaul. I mean, at the end of the day, the Winston, yes, it's good, but it's, like you said, Rose, it's way better on second point. I wonder if the Orisa there would have been way better on third. Not sure. Not sure. It's like, oh wait, the Blossom getting cancelled? Wait, that's a three-man shield bash actually as well. Didn't see that. I think we were on Checkmate's POV at that time around. Three-man shield bash into the Suzu, and then Checkmate pulls the blade. And that was their hopes and dreams scattered on that third point. Is this gonna... Okay, so they're going over to the Brawl instead. This rush Brawl with the Ram. And then Finn sticking on the Moira here, so slight backline difference, same with the DPS. A lot of Ram. In fact, it's a complete difference apart from the Ram, what am I saying? Just two different looks completely.
Yeah, what you talking about? Yeah, the support, and then you got the Mei here from the Shock. I really like the Ramatra Brawl, though, that we've seen so far from the Shock. I think that one of the weaknesses that Florida Mayhem have had earlier on in the season is just not being able to play the Brawl. So if you're able to force it out here, this could be a way for you to get the upper hand.
Backline are pretty safe too. You can choose to kind of wall them off if you really want to. Oh, nice sleep. Will it matter? Vindime's pretty low. Oh my. Oh, what a shot by Proper. Okay, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. Time to go. Time to go, team. Oh, Checkmate. Reflects an arrow straight back into Vindime. Oh, a little team kill there from Proper. He got his one, but he also got a team kill. So, you know, that's a net 0 kills. I chalk that up as.
Oh my gosh, imagine if Finn had gotten bopped there. He got so low. Had to use the Fade to get away. That cooldown should be back online before the Shock make a second attempt. But also, Finn has Coalescence already? That's a great way to be able to engage into this next fight.
You would love... Oh, force the Fade again. Wow. Arrows hitting for Merit right now. There's the Coalescence, like you called out, Rose. Everybody forced into this mega health pack room. But that Annihilation's good. I mean, Finn is nowhere near the rest of his team right now. And with Vindime dead, they've only got Finn heals, and he's just doing damage. He's decided he wants to just choose violence today. Nice little wall to wall someone off, but look at this frontward pressure. I mean, you can't really take down someone right now with Chorong, with the rally. They end up using the Blizzard. He does shield himself off, but that's about it. That overhealth isn't going to get built up quick enough, and a clutch Blizzard play from Heesang might see them through this fight. Although with Chorong staying alive, even though he was frozen up, they Florida Mayhem are going to be able to reset here, but the Shock might be able to carve some ground for themselves, maybe? I mean, you should be able to get a second tick, but someone is on the way.
Oh, especially when Finn has been able to make it back up to the high ground as well, maybe to try to bully Merit off as he comes back to the point. 2
ticks, Annihilation. Oh yeah, in this small room. And the blade from Checkmate to try and even it up, but it's not going to happen. I mean, Jumbin's already killed 2. Checkmate's chasing Proper into spawn, but he's saying switching over to the Echo for that second attempt on the attack there. Ended up helping out a bunch. So with 4 minutes on the time bank, the San Francisco Shock going to be able to take a forward position on the high ground, I'd imagine. Looks like RuPaul and Chorong made it out alive somehow from that first spawn point. They will join the rest of their team. As Checkmate actually preserved the Echo too. Okay.
You need to keep Heesang in check. If you let the Echo go uncontested, then that's just going to be a free card push there for the Shock. And if there's anybody that I feel like could do that, it would be Checkmate's Echo. You know, good on the Genji, good on the Echo. Going to be able to show us that look as well. But you have a little bit less ability to kind of go in with a support on either side, actually.
Yeah, a little support available now. Spin ends up dying. Oh, nice shot by Merit there. Catching Heesang's leg. All good. Yeah, I do like the Echo pick. The rare flex DPS player, projectile DPS player. Damn, they are a rarity nowadays, but when they join the league, you know they're just gonna absolutely clap.
Oh.
Speaking of getting clapped, well there you go, Vindime.
Yeah, you can't pick Merit. You just can't peek him at all.
Tough.
Merit has been getting so many headshots. He's gonna have the Dragon Strike ready. And I don't know if Shock are gonna be able to contend with that one. Especially if Brutball's gonna hit a big ante.
Die again! Didn't result in anything, but all good. They used that rush, in fact, to push that payload a little bit forward. Florida Mayhem utilized their Dragon Strike, find nothing of it, but Vin's got Coalescence again. All right, we got Frisch this time. Where's the cold? Wait for an orb and then send out the cold. Uh-oh, Merit's in trouble. Damage all straight towards him. Luckily he took the lift, and now Finn is going to have to back himself all the way up. And Nano Winston just jumping straight at him as someone just executes proper in the back line. And Merit just coming up with kill after kill after kill. Like you said, Rose, you just leave him to farm, and oh boy, he's having a good harvest right now. Someone's still getting pretty low, but he's got the Primal Rage to back him up. Good defense thus far from the Mayhem, and these Shock players that are stuck in this small building, if they find more staggers here, that time bank's going to whittle down pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, look, someone can just wrap around. Mayhem are ready to absolutely pounce on this.
That was just that was an instant kill, I think. Just a sticky orbs and then a tri-shot to the head. Or stall. That's what you love to see. Good sleep, too. All right, Checkmate just adjusting his headset. Don't die to the skill. Okay, all good. If he died to that, oh my god. He's all good. There's no panic.
That's a headset diff right there, if I've ever seen one. He actually just diffed himself. But no, you know, we're going to see a Florida Mayhem hold strong here on this second point. This defense just looked so good from them. Merit opening things up with a first pick pretty often. Checkmate as well, having free reign of this an aerial unit into the Shock. They've just switched proper over to the Hanzo too. So now you're looking at the Hanzo v Hanzo, but Merit's warm. And he's almost got another Dragon Strike ready too as we start to whittle away this clock.
I mean, I'm looking at Checkmate right now. Look at that damage. Not only that, he's got Copy available to him as well, and jump into the perfect target. You can get Annihilation so fast. Copy, Nemesis form, a couple of left and right swings, and that's about it. A free Annihilation for your troubles. There's that Dragon Strike Rose. Someone, whoa, hello, Flying Ice Cube. He's saying just sent high in the sky by that someone of Primal Rage, and there's the Copy. That Annihilation is going to get built up pretty quickly unless Shock have something to say about it. There's Nemesis form, 60, 70%, a free one. They've got to do something. He is not going down. Added armor, added Annihilation. That damage is just so good. They eventually kill him, but he already killed Finn. 13 seconds to go, and Checkmate gets the achievement. A double kill with the laser. Vindime jump in, dead. And that should be Shock's progress halted, and the map too. A nano boost to boots. San Francisco Shock halted, and Mayhem are going to tie the series up 1-1.
Hey, look at how good they look when they're able to work together as a team.
This looks night and day compared to yesterday.
So different.
Rose. So different. I mean, the Gladiators 3-0, that's got a sting. That has really got a sting. You don't expect to go down in that fashion. And like you said, Hollywood was kind of a weakness for them. Couldn't deal with Kai on the high ground, just mistakes left, right, and center. But it looks like they've gone back to the drawing board. They've really shored up their game and tying the series up now.
Yeah, I didn't like the Genji yesterday, only because it felt like it just fell so flat versus the Ashe, versus the Hanzo, just any of those pocket picks that we're seeing come out from the Gladiators. But Checkmate woke up. Today is a whole different day, and it feels like Florida Mayhem are finally on the same page again in terms of who they should be focusing down as a target, as well as Merit's on fire.
Oh,
Can't count him out.
Both Merit and Checkmate are clicking heads right now. It is crazy. Junkertown's going to be a good map to do that as well. I want to see a little bit of Widow. I do. Last time we saw Shock play, it was on Havana. It didn't work out at all. Like proper, went Widow, changed from the Hanzo, which he was doing so well on. Curious if they go back to that. There's so many different styles that Shock have also shown us, so maybe they've still got something up their sleeve, and they're going to need to find something up their sleeve. This is an elimination game in the lower bracket. We're going to jump to a quick break. Shock's map choice is Junkertown. We'll see you in a bit. Welcome back. Mayhem tying that series up after that Hollywood game. Everybody looking pretty good actually on Mayhem's side. Really shored up their gameplay basically from map number 1, which was kind of cheesy from Shock, but we kind of expect that now. I'm curious if Shock have got anything more up their sleeve. We are going to Junkertown. It is their Mac pick. You'd expecting Frosty's been in that lab cooking up something spicy for today because this is an elimination game. Loser here is going home. No chance of being in the mid-season madness in Korea. And with two, like, Goliath of teams down in the lower bracket. I mean, this lower bracket, regardless, is looking scary, but the San Francisco Shock and the Mayhem facing off, like, god damn. This, I didn't expect this, that's for sure.
I didn't either. I really thought that it would be Florida Mayhem moving forward yesterday, but the fact that it's going to be Shock and Mayhem here, like, this series is already delivering. I do wonder if maybe they bring out the Orisa again?
Yeah.
The tales of old, right? Junkertown, Overwatch 1, Orisa, double sniper.
Double sniper, double shield.
You know.
Pain. Oh, the pain. That, I don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. I loved my time as just shooting shield. It was very fun. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, very fun and very epic.
Very epic. Well, it looks like we are seeing a little bit Widow. Yes, okay, this is good. Merit on Widowmaker is one of my favorite things to see in the league, that is for sure. And if Proper stays on the Widow, it will make me one happy boy today, that is for sure. But it wouldn't surprise me if Proper does change from the Widow, go Hanzo maybe. Always been a small counter to the Widowmaker, because you don't really need to reveal yourself for too long to get a decent shot off. Just flinging arrows. You always have to watch your head if you're a Widowmaker. But jumping, is he always over an Orisa? Okay, well. Wait a second, wait a second.
Yeah.
Is he cooking?
Wait, pause.
He's
No,
cooking.
he's doing it.
He's cooking. He's gone Orisa, and Proper's going Widow. We take those. We take those. But with the Zen, though,
is he
like
cooking
that.
or is he just Orisa pilled? I think at this point he's just Orisa pilled.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, honestly, they 2-0'd, right, on Control. So we're just gonna go Widow. We're just gonna go Orisa again. And at the end of the day, Junkertown first is all about the snipers. So whichever Widow can kill the other Widow first, you end up just rolling them. So we'll have to wait and see. But Merit right now is being kind of checked by Heesang. As soon as Heesang kind of appears in the periphery of Merit, he's going to have to worry, and it's going to give Proper a lot of time to get into a decent position to kill him. Oh, okay. Well, that happens.
Huh.
So, there you go. Nice stuff.
Okay, we're getting some real live action Widowmaker gameplay. I like the Widow too, because if you do move into second point, you can end up using the Hanzo Proper. Merit.
He's waiting. He knows. He sees the tracer rounds, and Heesang is dead. Both Widows have killed already. Choron. Good use the flail there, just booping Proper away. Even if Proper tried to go for a shot there, his aim would have been all wonky. And it looks like Heesang is on Sombra now, so no tracer.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering if we were going to end up seeing that. You know, Checkmate being able to kind of duel with Heesang there is going to allow at least for a little bit of that health
What
pack
is
control.
Choron doing?
Getting
What?
egoed?
I mean, there's an ego duel and there's a 1v3 Brig into the backline. I mean, I don't know what to say about that one. No analysis needed. I think he kind of threw that one away. It looks like
moving on.
Yeah, he's moved on to a different pick too. Straight to the Kiriko. I guess he can TP back quicker. Not great.
Ooh.
What's that jump?
Shields up. Proper.
Oh!
Choron.
Ball. Oh my word, that almost hit. All right, Proper onto the high ground now. I mean, with Merit dead, sure, why not? But the problem is the fight on the payload's going the way of the Mayhem right now. Proper at least kills Choron, but that annihilation was good for at least a couple of kills. Terror Surge with the Transcendence. I mean, sure, why not? I mean, the payload is so close to the checkpoint. Finn has to back all the way up as Checkmate's trying to check him. It's all an aim check right now for Checkmate. He manages to take out Finn, but with a little bit of health left, is he going to survive? No, and it's just the Widowmaker now. Although I say that, actually, Choron manages to get back just in time. A nice spear from Jumpin as Merit ends up going down, and Proper has rejoined the fight. And that'll be a crazy, weird... someone break that fight down for me on the desk. I don't know what happened there, but 3 minutes and 30 seconds remaining. Just so many 1v1s happening, but Shock end up capping.
That's still a lot of time off of the clock. Florida Mayhem were able to accomplish the job that they set out to do, and apparently RuPaul is also going to get a snipe onto Proper. So I guess 2 can play it that game. Or 3, I guess, because Merit is also on the Widowmaker. But hey, you know what?
There's a lot of snipers.
Yes.
Oh, double EMP onto the low ground. Any follow-up? Yes, there is. There's Vindime dead. And there is Finn, too. Nice positioning from Checkmate. Does end up getting killed, but someone, too, on the defense was looking like he was on the offense there. I really like what someone's kind of putting down right now. I am picking it up. And with this high ground control, it's going to be hard for Shock to really clamber back onto the site.
This is where I'd really like to see Shock change up their composition. The Orisa, it was working, it was able to get them that first point, but it feels so slow to set up that they're going to start running out of time. There's also a lot of high ground and a lot of flanks to play around with, which I guess is why you've got Heesang and Proper also now switching over to the Genji. So that is a way to be able to make good use of these different flank routes, but I don't know how long it's going to take for them to set this up.
Surge. Oh, double kill for Jumpin. Terror Surge, both the supports. This guy's kind of nasty on the Orisa. I'ma say it. There's the sights for Merit, but he's gone, so they disappear. Wow. Jumpin's Orisa, something to be feared.
I guess that's how you set it up, is just get Junbin a Terror Surge, and then he just goes and kills people. That's definitely one way to do it.
It's the perfect plan. Krusty is
it's
cooking,
working.
is what I'm saying.
Oh, man.
He is going on to the Doomfist now. Pretty nice pick, although maybe just to get back fast. Orisa again? I mean, honestly...
Why not?
Orisa... He is thinking,
Stick to it.
contemplating.
Junbin, come on, stick to it, please.
Calculating.
You threw last time. You went Winston on the 3rd point of Hollywood.
He has decided to go Winston. Okay.
Oh.
Dive a little bit better on the high grounds. Not too much of a surprise there, but it would have been cool to see him on the Orisa still. Although he is getting dominated in the front line. There's the nano boost onto someone. He's got the annihilation straight through the bubble, but a nice transcendence to stop all that damage going down. However, he is still ticking people, so the annihilation is getting extended. So Shock eventually end up backing away. Strong playing in a very aggressive position with his Kiriko. There's a trading of ultimates there.
Merit's on Ash. Merit's on Ash.
Uh-oh.
Florida Mayhem.
Shock's biggest weakness.
They're dishing it out. They tasted this yesterday, and they know how deadly this can be against a Winston. So you may as well try.
Well, Proper's getting spawn camped. There you go. Not much you can do about that, unfortunately. Window on the payload for the San Francisco Shock, as Vince found himself in a nice little duel. Both supports dead. Chorong and Finn end up going down, but with an EMP for Checkmate, again, it's going to be tough for the Shock to really move through this choke point.
Big way they're going to have to try to get through this is maybe by, switching some stuff up. It looks like both teams starting to look at some adjustments to be able to close out this very first round of Junkertown. Jumpin might be able to get this Primal Rage online, and that might help set Shock on the right track for their ultimates, but Checkmate.
I mean, that EMP was decent, landed on the monkey, but that was about it. Proper takes down RuPaul. Even better EMP from Heesang. The supports from the San Francisco Shock were way in the back, so Vietnam and Finn could just perm the pocket jump in, nade, Suzu, everything they got to stop Jumpin going down, just that solo EMP. And the Mayhem traded theirs for Heesang's, but look at the space now Proper has. Primal Rage available as someone switches over to a Winston of his own.
Ooh, Winston too, look at how long you're going to have to be able to maneuver towards Proper. That's a couple of cooldowns invested there.
I mean, Merit's still going to have to watch his head. Proper has a decent sideline on this background here. I mean, the biggest tool that Florida Mayhem could possibly use is that bomb, but with someone dead, like, who's touching right now? No one's touching from Mayhem. Okay, there's the coach gun, and there's the spawn room. Merit, goodbye. Proper's woken up. Widowmaker, 4K at the very end. 35 seconds in the time bank for the Shock.
Proper go kill?
Yeah. It's a 4K too, because, you know, when they finish the map, you know, I'm not going to give him the slow-mo kill. He got 4 kills and then the 5th kill at the very end. I mean, Proper go kill is a valid strat, and you know what? It's working out. If Jumpin can't play the Orisa, Proper play Widow, gets the 5K if you really want to stretch it in the little slow-mo at the very end. And honestly, having someone go down there, that's basically it, because Proper has sights, they're sitting in a long corridor, and you're done for with a name like that.
would have liked to have seen some sustain, I think, if you were the Florida Mayhem. Either the Primal Rage, just having the Nano available, even a Transcendence would have been plenty to be able to keep the Florida Mayhem in that defense. But the Shock, one of the reasons why I think they're starting to look better is that it's not just about Proper being the star, the centerpiece of this team. They're starting to play together as a unit and also all starting to have individual pop-offs. Look at Jumpin's Orisa. I think that's a great example of what I mean.
Jun him. He do be playing Orisa. And I think this is the most Orisa we've seen from any team over the last couple of months. I mean, Orisa at one point in time was used a ton, obviously, in double shield, like you were saying, Rose, back in Overwatch 1, but Orisa, as a character, has changed so much, and I was always curious who was going to master it first. It looks like Jumpin has a very, very good grasp of the character, especially against these rushes, against these dives. We are seeing a different look from the Mayhem now, too. Sunbin on the Sigma. Okay, I like what I see. Very slow and methodical play. Again, just kind of waiting for snipers to get picks here. It's Proper versus Merit once again.
I think this Sigma choice is also really good because you've got the shield. That's a great way to start kind of rotating through, creating space. Just don't want to get stuck in a room with a Ramatra. I feel like Ramatra wins that one 9 times out of 10.
Look like Jumpin B-hops across the stretch there. He goes super low, and Merrick can't quite get the kill. Nice little body block there, or shield block from Vindime. But Jumpin, he came out of cover, got antied, had to cross his arms, and then was really nowhere near his supports. So they just kind of fall over. I mean, Proper couldn't get an eye in that fight either. He has 20% ult charge. Looks like Jumpin's going to go to Winston, try and get a recontest.
Jumpin going over to Winston here. I guess that's a pretty early commit. I think that on the defense, you really can't run the Orisa as strong, especially when you start losing the ability to play around those buildings. Oh, Merit.
Oh,
I think.
Yeah, you can shoot through those. Pro tip.
Oh, he wants that Widowmaker.
He does so bad. But he's going to have to satisfy with just a single kill right now, but now being on the payload, not really where Widowmaker wants to be. Someone's holding down the fort on the point right now with only 2 meters to go, but it will be kind of Proper playing a bit of a distraction tool there. Got his one, and then distracted the rest of the team. Chong does kill Jumpin, and with RuPaul alive, double support versus Hisang, Vindime's going to eventually join the fray. Same with Finn. This is a little bit of a bloodbath with Checkmate finding that kill onto Vindime. All right, Chorong. Oh my god. This first point has been so scrappy, both rounds. Finn, I think you die here. Yeah, you're dead. 4.5 minutes for the second point push now.
Scrappy, but also very fruitful. You know, Checkmate being able to get the...
Unlucky.
Moira,
Yeah, Finn annoyed. I think...
Checkmate sleepy?
I think with Merit sticking on this Widowmaker, he has sights. I'm curious if he's going to insta-pop them. Because Proper did... I don't know how much ult tracking is happening right now with at least Proper's ult, but he surely knows he has sights before Proper does.
Respond with that.
Exactly. So, okay, there's the sights pop. You're thinking maybe Proper pops his, so they probably know now Proper doesn't have sights at all. So you're going to get yourself in a decent position. Flux from someone, doesn't find anything at all, in fact, and Proper in trouble. Body shot, ooh, almost over the cart. Now Jumpin nanoed, so good response there from Jumpin. Merit was way too far up, trying to take advantage of using those sights. Couldn't quite find Proper's head there in the very...
It's great communication that Jumpin was able to pounce onto Merit so quickly. And after removing that, Florida Mayhem don't really have a choice here except to try to go for the EMP.
Solo EMP, you won't. You won't. Oh, he's detected. How sad. Goodbye, Checkmate. Uh-oh, he's in trouble. Has he got the Mega Pack health hacked, I wonder? He is completely isolated right now. No, completely isolated, all from Proper sights. Had to recall straight into the Mega Health Pack, picked it up once, and that was it. His life was over, and now someone's in trouble too. Nice work there by the San Francisco Shock, just hounding down Checkmate.
You can see why the Shock would have had this as their pick. The way that they're able to fluidly move through the high ground, the low ground, the flanks. They have practiced this. Even if it is with the Orisa on the attack, I'm going to give credit where credit is due. Jumpin has been able to do great work with that particular hero pick. But he's also showing up on the Winston as well. That communication for Jumpin to be able to hit those low health targets has been really clutch in this round.
Yeah, it really Oh, there's the Nano. Nano on someone. Proper in trouble. Checkmate was already set up for that kill. Good stuff. And now, oh, Finn didn't expect a Nano Winston there, apparently. He's used the nade already. Dime to the rescue as someone goes pretty low. And no Primal Rage to help him. Oh, he's so low. 13 HP. And Shock cannot confirm the kill. Good sleep onto Jumpin, who is Primal Raging right now. His health bar looking rather thin currently. Vindime and Finn are going to rejoin the battle in just a moment, but a rally from Chorong might see them through this fight. Jumpin is just permanently getting focused, but that rush from Vindime is just so clutch. But it doesn't matter in the end. Checkmate and someone are going to be able to clean up. All of that time that Vindime was trying to help Finn, and Jumpin was just alone on the point, just struggling to get healed. Team kill comes in, 3 minutes on this last push now for the Mayhem.
That's a lot of time for the Mayhem to work with. That could be 2 EMPs if you're able to take these fights fast enough. And someone is going to be able to create so much space on this Winston, knowing that the Primal Rage is available. Get that high ground, try to tussle that away from Junbin, find Proper on the Widowmaker, and you're setting up your team for success here.
Oh, I saw that silhouette from Merit there, jump with the grapple. Nice kill onto Finn. Curious where Finn actually was. Get himself headshot there. Although you can't always predict where the Widow is going to grapple. If you play around it permanently, then you're never going to be able to get out of spawn. So, unfortunate stuff. Oh, nice pulse mod from Heesang. Good stuff. Yeah, someone a little bit disappointed in that, but I mean, Heesang gets cleaned up. A lot of space has now been afforded just off of someone's Primal Rage, and Merit's kill onto the Ana.
I mean, Merit's been opening up so many of these fights with just a pick, whether it was the Hanzo from that second map or the Widowmaker here, and Merit still has control of this high ground. Proper's gonna have to go in and contest, but look at where he is. He's on the low ground right now with Vindame's pocket.
Ooh.
No one can hide.
All right, there's the Nano to jump in. Oh, Merit's been hacked from the back. Checkmate is there to help respond, and another good sleep by RuPaul. Oh, good headshot too. Man, everything's looking good. Two supports lining up. Merit just ignoring jump in. I mean, sure, you got double supports there, but with the Primal Rage, you have to do a little less ignoring, more killing, please. Anti-nade, even a hack 2 thrown in on top as Jumpin goes slow. But meanwhile, someone was also trying to kind of trade backlines, but ends up going down. Jumpin escaped alive. The payload is going to halt here for the time being.
On the defense as well, you can see how quickly Heesang has been able to get that control of those health packs. That way Junbin has access to be able to go through to get the Mega. You also have the ability for maybe Vindame, even Proper actually, to try to make good use of those health packs. Heesang also trying to just get in the back line here. Sub 1 minute territory. Florida Mayhem do have the CMP to work with, but Merit's down. That's going to be another stall.
That was a spawn kill. Potentially. Uh-oh.
Keep my head down.
Oh, Checkmate's out of there. All good. Finn kind
What's
of
Finn
lurking.
doing?
I mean, he doesn't really want to get spotted, and ideally he just kind of peeps his little head out of this window to the left. Yes, he's going to peep his little head out and then throw a nade down, I would imagine. Oh, sneaky, sneaky. Finn's ready to leap into action. He's pinging. Do they hear him? Nice nade. Good engage. Finn and Jumpin, the tag team extraordinaire. For that EMP2 to follow up. 12 seconds to go, and Mayhem in dire straits. No support, no backup. You've only got a someone, a Checkmate, and a Merit on the field. Someone's Primal Rage going to run out in just a moment. Chorong switching over to the Lucio, but somehow someone is just keeping this one alive. They're in OT. They are contesting the payload, but the Shock spawn point is so close, Rose.
Oh my gosh,
2 meters.
I think
Can
they're
they get back?
actually gonna do it
They
before they
can't
can
get
get there.
back. No way. Proper couldn't get on the payload in time, and someone solo carrying that last fight.
Score.
That's the Winston difference. That's the Winston that we have all come to expect from someone. It's the aggressive style of play. He's able to get so much done when he's got that Primal Rage available to him. And especially when he's feeling himself. Did you see that? He gave himself a little hug there after he had been able to cap
A little
that
self-appreciation.
You gotta have a little bit, right?
That was great. What a setup from Finn too. Finn and Jumpin with a beautiful flank nade on the Ana. Nano Winston in, crunches the backline. And at that point, someone's only got the Primal Rage, but that's really all the Mayhem needed. A double kill from the Primal, almost resets his health. It gets back to the point in time, and Proper cannot get back on the Reaper. Amazing overtime push there for the Mayhem. do slot the payload in, and they afford themselves another round, Rose. Only 35 seconds separates the Shock from the Mayhem now.
And Florida Mayhem would love to be able to get a do-over on this map. This is another map that they actually picked against the Gladiators yesterday, and they couldn't get it done. This is where that series ended for them. So wouldn't it feel good to be able to reprove yourself? You've already been able to do that on Hollywood, and Florida Mayhem were able to capture that third objective, so they get a chance to do it again. And it's going to be that Sigma composition once again, and Merit switching over to the Widowmaker immediately, knowing that Proper is on the same hero.
I really like that. It's like a lot of strength in the coaching there too, Rose, where you lost both your map choices yesterday. You go to them again because you know your game is strong on those maps. So nice stuff from the Mayhem. A lot of fortitude there. Oh, surely Proper saw that. Surely he saw where Merit was. Ooh, good heads-up play from Merit. A little 180, just checking Heesang. I wonder if he goes to the grapple. You can grapple off that little roof there. Tag someone in the window. Sigma push once more. Jumpin not making the same mistake this time, but with that Discord orb, Rose, so hard for him to just stand out from cover. But with Drawing Dead, doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Merit's going to have to come up big.
Merit's going to need to get a huge pick here, but it looks like Proper is just going to get pressured down in the back.
Yeah, Proper Merit end up falling over, but Heesang just putting in Lord's work right now. Overtime's gone. I mean, so checkmate on the point. That's where their push is going to end. The Florida Mayhem just torn apart by Heesang.
Heesang got so much done on the Tracer. I mean, look at that. Even though Merit had the heads-up play to be able to throw the Venom Mine over where he was getting checked a little bit by Heesang, he's still pretty slippery in the backline. And Shock have recognized, as many teams have, that RuPaul and Chorong are very strong supports. If you take them out of the equation, your team will likely fall.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, unless you have someone with a Primal Rage.
You know what? I realized after I said that
someone has Primal Rage.
Yeah, well,
Trade
he didn't
off.
have it this time around.
That's true. He was unfortunately on the
Fortunately, trade-off are off the table.
I mean, a lot of that too, with Heesang peppering down Merit, making sure Merit is looking two different ways. Proper just jumped out, got a quick headshot on a low HP Widowmaker because your Tracer is there just harassing her. At the end of the day, you're in a position where you've got to fight the 1v1 on the Widow. You have to win it so you can give your team reprieve from the enemy Widow, plus you can have a lot more free space. But if your other DPS is making the other Widow look the other way, that's so free. It's such an easy kill.
Yep.
And if you come up big like that, and then Heesang can then just tear apart the enemy team. But Proper and Heesang, DPS duo, looking rather good, and it feels like Shock very much more on the same page. And they're going back to the Orisa, Rose. They're going back to this
Orisa has worked. Why not? Why not go back to it if it's going to work for you those first few times on the attack? And this is a very all-in strategy from the Shock. They've got Proper for a quick pick on the Widowmaker. You have Vindame on the Batiste, so you have the Immortality field to be able to give you some sustain, as well as the opportunity to get that Amplification Matrix online so early. And with a minute and 30 that they had, Shock absolutely have a chance to get ultimates online.
Has gone to the Hanzo instead of the Widow now.
That
Really
works.
want to take that duel. I mean, considering the payload distance, fair play. You can hide around that corner, just fling arrows. Jumping's already pretty low. 60 seconds to go. And Vindime, oh! All right, fight's done. Reset. Everybody fell over at exactly the same time. 30 seconds to go. The San Francisco Shock. Now, you don't know what hit him.
They don't, and this is actually very detrimental for their game plan. They would have loved to be able to get something online like the Batiste. Proper actually going back over to the Widowmaker to be able to get that pick. Exactly. Oh, Finn as well onto the Kiriko, so this is even more damage output that the Shock are going to be trying to rely upon to get this payload over the line. It is very, very close to its destination, but look at Checkmate in the back. Wants to try to get Proper out of the equation immediately.
Venomime's right there. Oh, he dodged the Venomime. He shoots Proper, shoots Vindime. Bit of free ult charge. If they can build up towards the CMP, Rose, that could be the end of the game too. Or end of the map at least. Proper looking for a grapple shot. No! Messes up the grapple, didn't go through. He went for the short one. Oh, checkmate, still checking him. I love to see it. To get Venom Mine, so has to back up Rose. And they are pinging the Widowmaker too. It's the Sombras and the Widowmakers facing off against each other, trying to make sure they can't kill each other. Overtime is here too.
Watch the EMPs coming online. Checkmate and Hissing are both so
92%.
close.
Propper's in trouble. Annihilation straight towards Propper's location. No heals to be as Vindiver's trying to check the backline, trying to help out his other support. I mean, this Annihilation is going to tick for eternity at this point. EMP is good. Jumping down, and the Mayhem take the map. 2-1 in the series. Match points. The San Francisco Shock 1 map away from getting knocked out.
The Florida Mayhem got their retribution. They were able to get it done on the 2 maps that they fell to yesterday. That is the Mayhem for you. They are able to take their mistakes, they are able to turn them around, and they're capitalizing on that. Shock get another chance to pick a map here, but Florida are looking way better than they did yesterday.
God. Yeah, that like 4/5K from Prob was crazy. Love seeing good Widow play. But yeah, I love that point, Rose. I do. Mayhem lose both these maps, Hollywood and Junkertown, yesterday against the Glads, who 3-0'd them. Like, 3-0. No one expected that. Everyone thought Mayhem was going to win that game. And we are sitting here right now with them just not showing a sign of weakness. They are more than willing to go to those maps again because they have a game plan. They stick to it. They're looking good. This is going to be Shock's map choice. Scary stuff. Scary, scary stuff. Shock are about to get eliminated if they're not careful. Can they bring it to another map 5? They did against the Titans. Can they do it again? We'll be right back after this break. It's a Widow's player's dream to load it into a junkertown, at least every other game. And look at these Widowmakers on your screen. I mean, Proper had a couple of sick clips, but overall, Merit was kind of besting him when it comes to damage. Well, I guess on Widowmaker it doesn't really mean too much, just the damage. It's more about the final blows and the eliminations, or less deaths though. So very comparable, but Proper still 7.2 final blows to 5.2. Yeah, he's still clicking more heads than Merit in this situation, regardless of the damage output. It's always nice to see Widowmaker play, even if I do main support. It's still cool to see. And I mean, Rose, this was, it really did feel like Shock just coming alive, but the Florida Mayhem's defense was just so good. They did lose this map yesterday against the Gladiators, and it was just clutch play after clutch play. But I think we saw that from Shock too, right? Jump in, running to the backline on Orisa, getting a double kill with the Terror Surge on the supports. Like, there were lots of like just individual moments. A lot of team play goes into Overwatch, but when you're just popping off and clicking heads or hitting big ultimates on tanks, like there's nothing that can really stop you. And it really are those individual plays from either Jump In or Proper or Merit and someone with the Winston and the Ramantra that really made that map competitive. And, well, Rose, we're going to Esperanza now.
Going to Esperanza, and this is where San Francisco Shock took us yesterday versus the Titans. And boy, does this story look familiar, Jack. Shock winning first point of control, and then we've got them losing their Escort and Hybrid maps, and now they're going to take us to Esperanza again, and they won out their series versus the Titans. I'd be scared if I were the Mayhem. Shock always know how to clutch up when their backs are against a wall.
We are almost reading the same book right now. Will it happen though? That's the question. Esperanza is the map. My memory serves me correctly too. Yesterday with Titans, they did manage to cap very quickly that first checkpoint, and then Shock managed to bring it back. And normally, and Jake said it on cast too, when you do end up capping the checkpoint that quickly early on, it's quite hard for the enemy team to come back because the impetus is on you really to push forward and get picks, get fight wins, and get the enemy checkpoint ASAP. But the Titans, they ended up losing a few fights here and there, and the Shock just kind of capitalized it. It was just a big snowball by the end of it. Can they repeat this? Or can they take checkpoint first? We'll have to wait and see. Esperanza is always a bit of a weird one for me, Rose. The high ground is just so strong. And hey, you can play Orisa here if you really want to. There's a lot more Winston play yesterday, but you know, the Orisa can work. I think Jumbin's proved that by now.
He absolutely has proved that, and it wouldn't surprise me to see them try it, but I worry that if it stops working, they won't switch fast enough. Maybe they're a little too stubborn with it, but I just hope that that doesn't come back to bite them, as it did look like they struggled a little bit with that, making that switch on Hollywood specifically, where they went into second point, they stuck to the Orisa when verticality was aplenty, and it just didn't work out for them on that map, so we'll have to see. I expect more they'd lean into like the Ramatra or the dive here, especially if they're expecting Florida Mayhem might come out on the dive too.
Yeah, I would imagine so, but I mean, hey, crazier things have happened, and we're in a knockout situation, Rose, too, right?
That's
so
true.
We could see a little bit of silly coming out. I don't think someone's going to play Zarya, although that would be kind of wicked, but I don't think it's going to happen somehow.
I don't think it's going to happen either. It would be nice to be able to play around the Reaper, though, so it would not be too bad of a choice to see that come out.
No, he's staying on it. No, we are seeing Zarya. Okay. You are more than correct there, Rose. Yeah, Zarya to help pocket the Reaper. Zarya versus the Winston, just this rush dive, like with the trades from the Sombra. This is tough for Zarya. Like, if you get hacked, yeah, you can insta-bubble yourself, but burning those cooldowns can be pretty easy, especially if Heesang even just attempts to go for a hack. Someone could panic, hit the bubble on himself, not have one for checkmate. The supports have got to do a lot of heavy lifting here too, mainly RuPaul trying to keep someone off, make sure he doesn't have to burn those bubbles early.
Yeah, and you're also hoping that Checkmate's going to be able to get this damage down onto Junbin. That's really the main target of focus here if you're going to be playing this role. You're going to get up close and personal into Shock's face and make sure you take that tank down really quick.
I think Checkmate tried to teleport there, but the bot pushed him forward, so cancelled his TP. I don't know, that was really weird. Not sure what happened there, but there go your bubbles, and there goes RuPaul. You don't have that many, unfortunately, only 2, and RuPaul just gets focused down. A nice flank by Heesang, and into the hack, and you only have 1 bubble remaining, and someone had to choose wisely. It might have been a wise choice, but the San Francisco Shock were more than equipped to deal with what Mayhem had. And with Checkmate switching over to the Tracer, it's going to be a Winsome switch, surely. Yep, there you go. Okay, no more Zarya.
Full swap here. You've got Chorong switching over to the Brigida too, so you have the ability to play the counter dive, especially when Shock have taken first control. You're expecting them to play a little bit more aggressive here to be able to capture that first checkpoint easier. Maybe Chorong is able to give a little bit of sustain into the back line so that you don't fall so quickly. Maybe it gives yourself a fighting chance here. And hey, maybe you just take out Heesang.
Good start. Nice nade too. And they follow that with a kill. Checkmate. Didn't have triple blink there, so unfortunately not. Jump and hit the little bounce too, so all good. Good kill on I'm curious how that happened, but it doesn't really matter now. All of that really matters for the Shock is that they know the Florida Mayhem ended up switching. Good anti-nade onto Vin Diamond Finn. Finn's dead. Florida Mayhem sticking it to the San Francisco Shock now. I was going to say the ultimate charge and the ultimate economy for the Shock is going to look a lot better because Mayhem had to switch, but they might just be able to even it up. Good push.
I think they can, especially if someone's going to pull the front line.
So good. Such a good thing.
Again, they're going to keep Heesang from being able to get this EMP, and that is so valuable when Shock are relying on these ultimates to try to get this pod back in their control. And knowing that the Mayhem were able to put it over the line so that they got this lead, someone just gets to go ham.
This tempo is crazy from the Mayhem right now. They found the GPS, don't worry. Oh, Pulse Bomb, don't worry. I got Prime. Where is he? Give me him. He's going to fling him around for the Hulk versus Iron Man. No, he's calm, he's calm. All good. They might be able to get the checkpoint too. I mean, EMP's coming up for the Merit. Mr. Merit.
Gotta watch out for Heesang now.
Oh, there's EMP. Hit someone. Can they keep him alive? They can! Chorong and RuPaul managed to keep someone alive through the solo EMP, and now all Mayhem need to do is just hang back just ever so slightly, and so they've got an EMP of their own. And they move on to jump in. I mean, I'm waiting. Checkmate. Look, he's lost. Jump in. What is he doing? Oh, he gets bashed. Jump in. Nowhere to go at all. Nice blink from Checkmate. He's got the overheld too. No nade, no sleeve, no damage at all on Checkmate. A perfect kill on the Ana. Wow, Jump in just looked lost. He had that nano, he kind of went in, and Checkmate was behind him the whole time doing damage. And there's the checkpoint, Rose. Mayhem even saved the EMP. What a perfectly executed team fight.
That was perfect. Yeah, picture perfect. Chorong with the rally, able to make sure that he was staving off the pressure the Jumpman was putting down with that nano boost in tow. And now you get to use the EMP.
Late B, no EMP, no tank for the shot. Easy free push. Oh, I wonder if does he have a translocator? Yeah, that health pack's hacked. Unlucky son. There's the translocator all the way back. They kind of know where the Sombra is, but it looks like Heesang instantly hit the cloak. Remember, this is what happened yesterday, Rose. Shock always playing on the back foot, but much more scary opponent, you've got to admit, in the Florida Mayhem compared to the Titans.
Yep. Checkmate wants to use his pulse bomb here. Needs to find a good target, and I feel like someone has set him out for Checkmate to knock him down.
He's looking at that pulse bomb. Oh! Pulse bomb's still in the hands, but Finn ends up going down. Nice thing by Proper, but it didn't matter. Where did that pulse bomb go? There was a connection, but it didn't matter in the end. Proper is still coming up with kills, but the Florida Mayhem are just running rings around the shop right now. Finn dying to that pulse bomb too was just disaster. 87 meters and counting now.
Oh, I gotta see exactly what happened here.
He stuck. Did he stick the Primal Rage? Yeah, he stuck Primal, and then Jumpin must have jumped straight into it. Oh, Finn.
Oh no!
Package delivery service first class with a signature. So rough. And Jumpin's now switched over from the Winston. They can't match this dive that the Mayhem are currently putting out.
No, they need his EMP too.
Oh.
Heesang's gonna pull the trigger. Do it.
He threw the translocator forward. It looked like maybe he wanted to go back to his own translocator, but the EMP, Rose, is the tool that they've got to win this fight. It's a good setup.
Setting up for it.
Look
at that.
They don't know. Okay.
They might know.
They know now. And there's the rallies. There's EMPs. Not really going to find all too much. Speaking of EMPs, though. Coalescence. EMP lands. Double EMP, though. Counter one. Hit three. Finn dive. He sang. Everybody hacked. And another clutch pulse bomb from Checkmates. The San Francisco Shock just not able to find an EMP target and get the execute. Robber's stalling, but that's really about it. These Heesang EMPs are just not landing, and very, very good patience there from Merit waiting that one out, and they go for the counter as Shock try to bundle on someone that was hacked.
Oh, Merritt gets a chance to play a little bit far forward, gets punished for that, maybe hoping to be able to get a little bit of something happening in the back line there, maybe just a bit of charge, but at this point, Florida Mayhem don't really care. They have such a lead over the Shock right now, and as we work towards that 3-minute territory, Florida Mayhem just want to play defense.
So Heesang's already dead. Rush is out, so a lot of extra healing from the San Francisco Shock, but like you said, Rose, I think Mayhem are really worried about it. They're in their lane right now, nourished, moisturized, and they're fine taking these fights because they can just hold the high ground. RuPaul has Nano, they have the Primal Rage, and Choring is safe. Robber's now down, and the San Francisco Shock unable to breach this bridge. They cannot even get the bot to the middle of the map.
Florida Mayhem are so unbothered, and they know exactly how to play around that bridge high ground too. Whether it's going to be someone trying to popcorn on the bridge, just make sure that they're contesting the bot, they get back to make some progress. And they have so much momentum. Someone can go in with a Primal Rage. It's someone with a Primal Rage.
Yeah. Oh, miss on the sleep there from RuPaul, but he did land a shot. Now he's underground in the cellar. Should be fine though. Like you said, someone's still got Primal. He's just trying to force cooldowns out of the supports. All already used. There's the switch then. Yep, you're in big trouble now. Jumpin is already down, and the Florida Mayhem, they're looking like they want to sink this one home. 100+ meters on the board with 2 minutes to go.
Florida Mayhem want to make a statement right here. They're like one team fight away from being able to keep themselves alive in this bracket to make it to the mid-season. They don't want to go down here without a fight. And Shock, they're looking like they're in shambles. They don't have much in the tank.
Someone's got to look at someone, man. Someone's got to look at someone. He's just destroying your backline. Mid-dive is down. Coalescence used by the Shock. But again, little support. And Mayhem are happy to take these trades. There's 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. The Shock need a decisive team fight win. An EMP solo onto someone, but he was mid-primal. And now Finn's in trouble. He's already used the fade. He's got Norm that's healing him, but someone juggles him away from it. And the bot is now in control of the Mayhem once again.
Oh my gosh, the mechanics that we're seeing from someone as well. Look at, he was able to get away because he popped the bubble down. And someone's got to keep these Shock supports alive. Finn and Vindave are not having a good time right now. Please, Junbin, you know your job is to keep someone in check right now. You have
available, nice EMP, hits 3 again. This value is insane from Merit right now. The Mayhem are 40 seconds away from eliminating the Shock from the lockouts.
And they've got Checkmate with a pulse bomb as well. They're also going to be cleaning up the supports
get these kills,
They're not careful.
They're fighting them in the spawn. Touches the spawn door challenge. Successful! Even Checkmate sticking Finn in the spawn room. That's gotta hurt. Insult to injury. Just cap the bot. Just cap it, Florida. You gotta do it to him. 18 seconds to go, Rose, and they are so close.
All right, Shock, Kitsune Rush, maybe that's a people to keep them in this.
There's the call.
As well, push them back.
Now they boost on the brig, so Chongeng going down. Raid boss activated. The Florida Mayhem so close to capping. Even the rally too. They've got all the tools they need to just end this one right here, right now. Overtime in session. The rush is still going on, and Jumpin has the Primal Rage, but are they going to be able to win this fight? And the successive 8 fights at that. Finn and Proper come up with kills, but it is the last-ditch attempt for Shock to take this to a map 5.
Well, that's one fight underway. The bot is going to be making its way back to that midpoint so quickly, but the forward spawns are still active for the Florida Mayhem. They're going to be able to get out of their spawn room so fast. And with someone having the Primal Rage as well, look at this. They're going to meet them in the middle before that bot even makes it to the midway point again.
Good taking the high ground here for Shock. Mayhem only need one fight, Rose. Just burning cooldowns here is important. 25 meters to 134. Like, It is such a mountain to climb. A giant one of Midtime's already dead. Primal Rage popped. Someone sees blood in the water and he's going for it. Proper's down. San Francisco Shock are bleeding and they are about to bleed out. The EMP hits 5, but you are done, son. The San Francisco Shock are knocked out and the Florida Mayhem continue their march in the lower brackets.
Look at the statement that the Florida Mayhem were able to make today after their defeat versus the Gladiators yesterday, 3-0. The Florida Mayhem are able to come back, able to win the maps that they lost yesterday, and they also finished so strong with almost a full cap on Esperanza. You can't count this team out. They are making a great case for themselves to make it to the mid-season.
What a round of push. That was just sheer domination, honestly, Rose. That was...
I know.
The Sombras, the matchup there just didn't seem fair at all. Merit was just permanently getting more value and permanently hacking as well, jumping. That guy just did not have a good time. I mean, maybe you switch over to the Orisa, you get hacked, you're like, okay, I'll just fortify after the hack wears off, right? He's saying was just could not get the same value. Just the EMPs were just too good. And then just the individual picks. I think that was a perfectly played round of control. They even touched the spawn doors, got a kill in it too. I mean, what a game we just witnessed. San Francisco Shock out of the run-ins now for mid-season madness, Rose.
Fortunately, we are going to have to send the Shock home, but we're still sending the Florida Mayhem forward. And our player of the match has to be someone here. I mean, what was he able to get done with those Primal Rages by himself on junkertown?
He won this map for them, or this round for them.
Yes.
His supports were dead. There was almost no hope. There was no real evidence there that you could win that, but it's somewhat, of course, because he has Primal Rage. His Winston is just so good. It is insane what this guy can do with little resources, and that's what really makes the mark of a good tank, honestly. Just getting your job done without the need of a backline. His primals looked good, and yeah, I mean, the Esperanza map kind of speaks for itself. Someone looked so good this match. Gets the player of the match for today. And there you go, some Winston stats on the screen too. What? 24 minutes played, 2 deaths. 2 deaths every 10 minutes. 20 eliminations per 10. Unreal stuff.
Like, this is just putting up some of the best numbers that we've seen on Winston this season. And even looking at that final map, a lot of those final blows were the supports of the Shock.
Yeah.
Those are high value targets that he was able to get down.
Yeah, someone absolutely deserves that one. And the Florida Mayhem now will advance. I mean, it's a surprise to see them in the lower bracket, and they're making sure everybody down there is going to fear them. Now we're going to jump to a quick break. We've got 2 more, banger games coming up soon. Maybe another team being knocked out as well. We're going to jump to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. See you guys in a minute.
welcome everyone watching. If you're in it for the drops, well, let me tell you, there is more of that. If you're watching our Overwatch Spring Series, that's right, drops. They're back indeed. Finals June 9th to the June 10th. You don't want to miss it. And of course, not only can you get some drops, but you can also get that fancy skin.
That is a drop.
That is a drop. A drop with a lot of drip.
Wow.
Good drop, a drip drop.
We just need a beat and we're good to go.
We actually are.
Someone lay down a beat. Zoe, that's your wheelhouse?
That's done. If you missed it, you really missed something. If you missed this match, you also really missed something. We have to talk about what just went down. Florida Mayhem looking vastly different than the team we got to witness yesterday. Never doubted. We even got the score correct. Mayhem are moving on. Here's our updated bracket. They lived to fight another day, and now they're waiting for the loser of the the winner of the Excelsior and Justice match to continue fighting on for their lives, to be very dramatic. But let's talk about how they got it done. I think one of the stories in this match, apart from all the individuals here, is a real big amount of Orisa we got to see from the San Francisco Shock. That seemed to be something they have been leaning on already for the past few weeks. And Jumpin made it work in some scenarios, didn't work in others. And maybe we want to break down why and how and everything.
I would love to, Zoe. Thank you for obviously an unplanned, impromptu setup for me. Thank you. No, but the Orisa, it was a key part of Shock's strategy, and it's something that we haven't really seen anybody else play for the most part this season. It looked really viable on a lot of these Koth rounds. Here was just an absolute banger of a play from Junbin, an insane high impact play. And really on these Koth maps, I think Shock's getting so much value. For me, analyzing this comp, I'm kind of looking at the May with skepticism on Florida Mayhem because, yeah, you can ice wall this Orisa, but you can't kill her. So here, though, we get to the Hollywood, where, in my opinion, the Orisa comp started to look really flat. Sure, there were some moments where the Orisa finds kills and holds the car, but for the most part, Merritt is just sitting on the high ground all day long, and I mean, there's just no response to him. He's more or less uncontested for the entire second point of this map, and RuPaul the same. Like, there's like a one-man tracer coming after the Ana, but that's just not enough of a threat to really dissuade RuPaul from just being on this high ground. I mean, look at him, he's just walking into the backline. So this is the risk of the Orisa. Here again on Junkertown, we saw occasionally this working for Shock, but once Mayhem bring out the Kiriko, there's just so much pressure on the Zen from Shock. They switch to Kiriko as well, and the comp just doesn't feel that good anymore. Like the Orisa, she's a little bit lost. She performs so much better when she can just kind of hold down the corner of a Koth point, but when she actually has to push across the map and trade with her Ramatra, it's a much taller order. So Shock, I think, bringing out some interesting cheeses. It did get them the win against Vancouver Titans, but you know, Florida, they were a smarter team. They were better prepared to adapt to it.
Do you guys think we're gonna see more of this?
No.
Orisa?
No.
Really?
No.
Not
I
a
don't
fan.
think.
I
don't think so.
Points maybe.
I think it's a weaker comp, but I still like the macro idea. I think it made sense in that Junbin, you put a lot of pressure on the cart. It's hard to like stand up to an Orisa because it just boops your way and like really annoying, and then proper go kill. I really did think there was a genuine like macro idea from the Shock there of trying to put a lot of card pressure and then freeing up proper to find those frags, and it did at times. Hollywood is like the literal worst map for that composition. Yeah. But I don't think it was like out of pocket. Junbin is just like, I'm gonna go play Orisa, have fun. Like, there was genuinely thought behind it, and I think they felt that they were at a disadvantage against the Mayhem, and they tried to cook something up.
Yeah, they felt they were the worst team, which is, to be honest, it's a rare moment for the Shock. I think historically, the Shock's always been a team you look to like just take the mirrors every single time. We're just gonna take the mirror. But Florida, they were too strong. Shock had to try to cheese, and Florida, too adaptable, too smart. And part of that is they're incredibly flexible tank someone.
True.
Indeed, what a transition. I had a good one too, but you know what?
Go ahead. I want to hear it now. We gotta hear it now. No, we gotta hear it now.
No, that is too much pressure for this transition.
I want to hear it.
I'll leave it for the next one. I keep it in the pocket.
I stole your thunder.
He's coming from my job. That's what's happening here.
I'm not gonna forget it. I'm gonna forget it. Next break.
That's good. But you got it, Daddy.
All right,
so take it away.
everybody.
Take it away.
Thank you. So we got our interview with the player of the match, someone. Congratulations on getting the win today against the San Francisco Shock. Before we move on, though, I do want to quickly talk about, ask you a question about yesterday because it was sort of a surprise for a lot of people. So what happened against the Gladiators yesterday? 자, 오늘 승리 승리를 축하드리면서 굉장히 빠르게 어제 경기에 대해서 살짝 얘기를 하고 넘어가고 싶습니다. 글래디전에서 좀 어떤 문제가 좀 있었나요?
글래디전은 일단 제일 큰 문제점이었던 거는 이제 저희가 너무 간절하고 그리고 이 경기가 너무 중요한 거 알기 때문에 더 긴장을 많이 해서 실수를 좀 줄여왔던 플레이를 했던 것 같아요. 그러니까 트라이를 좀 많이 안 하면서 그러면서
네?
이제 그런 것 같습니다.
좀 너무 긴장을 해서 너무 간절해서 좀 많은 실수를 했다 이거죠?
아니 실수를 무서워하지 않아도 되는데 근데 너무 아무것도 안 했다. 딱.
Okay. I think the biggest problem that we had against the Gladiators was that we were just very thirsty for the win. We knew that it mattered a lot, so even when we didn't have to, there are always going to be times that where we make mistakes in team fights, but we were so caught up on not making mistakes and wanted to play out everything perfectly, and I think that was the biggest problem that we had against the Gladiators. But hey, you guys unfortunately lost yesterday, but today you guys looked fantastic against the San Francisco Shock. And talking about San Francisco Shock, I think another interesting thing that we saw today from them was the Orisa composition. As a tank player, I do feel like from the first map, you guys were going up against it. I think you guys sort of found your own answer against the Orisa comp as the series went on. So what are your thoughts as a tank player on Orisa? And also, how are you guys able to I guess overcome that difficulty. 자, 오늘 경기에 대해서 좀 얘기를 해보자면 쇼크의 아무래도 그 오리사 조합이 굉장히 좀 재밌었던 것 같아요. 일단 제가 봤을 때는 플로리다 쪽에서 처음부터 좀 이렇게 같이 이 오리사와 이렇게 경기를 해오다가 끝에 가면 갈수록 이제 좀 답을 좀 찾은 것 같은데 오리사에 대한 좀 개인적인 의견, 센쇼의 오리사에 대한 의견 그리고 또 어떻게 해서 그 오리사 조합을 좀 이기시게 되셨나요?
오리사는 일단은 자리를 한번 먹었을 때 이제 창으로 내는 변수라든지 이제 시프트랑 이제 이를 이용해서 자리를 버티는 힘이 세긴 하지만 이제 좀 넓은 맵이나 2층이 많은 맵은 이제 다른 탱커에 비해 기동성이 떨어지기 때문에 저희 입장에서는 오리사를 좀 많이 치는 조합으로 이제 좀 멀리서 쏘는 조합으로 해결을 해보자 하면서 계속 고민하다가 해결책을 찾은 것 같습니다.
I think one of the big benefits of using the Orisa was that once she is in position with all of her utilities and in her toolkit, it's really easy to hold that ground. So along those series, I think our own answer, the answers that we found was that she lacks mobility. So we wanted to attack that by sort of engaging the fight or just sort of poking out and focusing out the Orisa and sort of winning out the team fights that way. All right, one final question. I think I want to talk a little bit about Esperanza as well, because that one wasn't close, but we saw something interesting from you and the rest of your teammates. I think that was the Zarya. You guys started off with the Zarya composition, and which at the end it didn't work out, and you guys went to Winston. But I think it was nonetheless very interesting to see Zarya. So what was your thought process with starting off the fight with the Zarya composition? 자, 마지막 질문으로 이제 마지막 4세트였던 저희 에스퍼란자에서 당연히 제가 봤을 때는 좀 안 됐었던 것 같아요. 하지만 자리아를 처음에